Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. First and foremost, welcome everyone. Thank you again so much for everyone getting on this webinar. I know everyone is super busy. The holidays are coming up. Everyone has a lot going on. But I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to do this. And it means a lot. Hopefully you learn a little bit from it. If you have any questions throughout it, please let me know, or any afterwards, you can also let me know. Just to let everybody know, this webinar will be recorded to its entirety. This is the second webinar for the basketball season that we have hosted. We did one on Tuesday morning, and then of course doing one now. Whichever one, I'm going to look at both, and whichever one I find that was most helpful, I will send that out via email, a link for everyone that you can go back and watch it if you missed anything, or for those coaches that weren't able to join us for either of the webinars, okay? All right, everyone knows me. My name is Hunter Brislin. I am the Team Sports and Coach Education Program Director. So let's start off talking about what it takes to become a Special Olympics coach. There's a couple of different items that you need to take care of to become a coach. So we're going to cover those, not in super great depth, but a little bit. First and foremost, everyone needs to be a Class A volunteer. Now, in order to become a Class A volunteer, you must complete the volunteer application, which is required every 3 years. You also need to complete the volunteer orientation training and submit its quiz. The volunteer orientation training is only once, required once throughout your continued involvement with Special Olympics. So that's a one and done item. And then you also need to complete both protective behaviors and concussion training if you are over the age of 18. Both of these have a quiz, and everything that I just listed is available via online at the link that you see on the screen there at soki.org/coaches corner, okay? So if you go to that link and you click that link here, which I will do for everyone. Give me a minute, bear with me. Alright, so if you go to the link that was on the presentation there, you will go to our homepage here, and this is, like I said, this is brand new to our website. This was something whenever I took over Coach Education that I thought needed to be done, and this is a place for all of our coaches to be able to come to and hopefully get any unanswered questions answered, and find whatever they need. So whenever I'm going through this, and you're seeing this, go back and look at it for me. Let me know if there's anything that you would like on this page. And I'll most certainly try and get it on there, because like I said, this Coach's Corner idea is for you guys, and I want to make it as personable as possible for all of our coaches and as helpful as possible. So if you hover over the volunteer/Coach's Corner part, you'll go down and you'll hover over the Coach's Corner. If you click that, and then that'll kind of take you to the home page here. And so you'll see Coach's Corner is what it's titled. What a positive sport experience starts with a coach. What are the responsibilities of being a Special Olympics coach? For those of you that don't know, we do have a coach oath. So just like we have an athlete oath, we have a coach oath. The Coach Code of Conduct, which is very important. If you haven't looked at that, you need to be familiar with that. Of course, the coach certification process, which I mentioned just a little bit, I'll click on that to go more in depth. Sport manuals for any sport that you participate in, you can click that, and that'll take you to a separate page where you can find all of our updated manuals. And then key coaching forms. These are forms that A lot of times I was emailed asking, hey, can I get this form from you? Can I get this form from you? Don't care a bit to send those via email, but now they're available online, easily accessible for you guys at any point in time, okay? So you'll see under those, you've got the accident incident form, you've got the request for certificate of insurance. This one is a super popular one, specifically for basketball. Those of you that are practicing in a facility that may require that, that is something that we provide you guys. Of course, the athlete medical form, your Class A application, local program contact list. This lists all of the local program coordinators. So if you are not familiar with who your coordinator is in your local area, please click that and figure that out. Give them a call, introduce yourself, and just get to know one another, because it's very good to know who that is, as they do a lot for that local program. Unified partner application, and last but not least is the local program logo usage guidelines. This big presentation, basically it just goes over how to use our logo properly as a local program. So if you haven't checked that out, I would highly advise you to, most certainly. So if you come up here and click Become a Certified Coach, you will see it takes you to the coaching certification page. Alright, and everything I just went over. So like I said, all of our coaches are required to be Class A volunteers. So everything on number one, every single coach that is coaching a Special Olympics sport needs to have everything done under number one, first and foremost, okay? You'll notice a couple of them are only for those over the age of 18, but like I said, everything on number one needs to be completed. If you haven't completed these as a head coach or even as assistant coach, you will be receiving a form prior to regionals from our office manager, Francie Ulici, myself, or our volunteer director, Justin Harville, saying, hey, we need you to take these prior to regional tournaments. So like I said, just like our athletes have to have a medical on file, you guys have to have certain certifications. And we appreciate you guys, taking care of those for us, as they are important and are needed in regards to being a coach, okay? So if you scroll down a little bit, it just goes more and more in depth. And this just is as you continue your involvement with Special Olympics and you're in the program longer and longer, certain things are required and are expected of you. Attending sport-specific clinics that we offer, which are coaches clinics, or what we like to call them. And then under number 3, you'll see there all the different courses that you're able to take to recertify, which is every 3 years. A big one here recently that we just added was the autism course, which is a super great course. I took it myself, and it really goes into depth on pretty much the entire spectrum of autism. I learned quite a bit from it, and we had a number of coaches take this course, and I cannot thank everyone who took that course enough, as that is a huge part of what we are trying to do, okay? Alright, so if you scroll up, some things to know. Those are just kind of side items there, but that's pretty much it. Just kind of a side item here. We have on the side what's called Coach's Digest. This is kind of like a blog style, like it's titled, digest page, of where we just post certain items to just try to get that information out to you guys. It's just another resource, another way to access that information. So you'll see, scroll down through here, you'll see different things that we've announced. If you haven't checked that out, please do. And just, check it out frequently, just in case you're not missing anything at all, okay? We'll post, when coaches clinics and all that type of thing are. So we will go back here to the presentation. Like I said, if all of that's brand new, so if you haven't got a chance to check our website, Check it out. Let me know what you think, and if there's anything on there that you would like to be added or you think that would be helpful, like I said, please let me know and I'll try and get that on there, okay? Moving on here to what is required by an athlete. Everybody knows they have to have a medical form. If you do not know, we do have a new medical policy. That medical policy states that we will no longer be taking athlete medicals on the day of an event. So all medicals are due into Mrs. Renee Moss at our state office by Thursday at 4 p.m. prior to the event weekend. And before we get into basketball specifically, I want to mention also that our biannual leadership conference is coming up. For those of you that don't know, that's going to be January 12th through the 13th in Lexington, Kentucky. We're going to be having a roundtable certification kind of session. It'll be out in the open, and it'll be general. It'll be open to anyone and everyone. And basically what that's going to be is I'm going to have a number of computers and tablets set up for those folks that are in need of taking the protective behaviors and the concussion training and all of those classes that I just went over. I'm going to have all that set up for everyone that needs to take that. So people that are coming to that conference, you're able to kind of kill two birds with one stone, and you can get all your classes taken within a short time there and be done with it. So if you're not signed up for that, I would highly recommend it. And we're also having a bocce clinic for those coaches that are involved with bocce. So if you want more information on that, just contact Kim Satterwhite, our VP of Programs. And like I said, that's January 12th through the 13th. All right, so to dive into basketball, season runs November through March, of course. We have sign-ups in a number of different areas. First packet of information went out November 15th. If you didn't receive that, which you wouldn't be on this webinar if you didn't receive that, but if you know a coach that didn't receive that, please let me know so I can get that to them. We've got local leagues that will begin in January and run for approximately 8 weeks. Northern Kentucky kind of does their own thing. Western Kentucky kind of gets in games the same type of way. We'll have 2 different Louisville leagues, one at Christian Academy, that will be on Wednesday nights, and then we will have one at Berrytown Community Center, and that'll be on Tuesday nights. And then we will also have a Georgetown Basketball League, which will be on Thursday nights, all of which will be, like I said, for 8 weeks approximately, pending weather, and all schedules will come out for those leagues hopefully prior to Christmas. If I can get everything in place, like I said, I would like to get all schedules out to you guys by Christmas. Regionals take place in February. State tournament is held in March. Alright, so a little bit more specific on the basketball timeline and dates, along with some due dates. Everyone turned in their intent to participate forms that are interested in competing in leagues. Like I mentioned, we will begin second week of January with all Soki hosted leagues. January 19th, I need everyone's regional and state rosters. So if you plan on competing in regional and or state, I will need that roster. February 2nd, your game summary forms are due. February 10th, Region 1 and Region 3 basketball tournament. Region 1 will be in Bowling Green, and Region 3 will be in E-Town. Region 1 is at Moxley and Coomer Recreation Center there in Bowling Green. 2 different gyms, technically multiple courts in both gyms. And then in E-Town will be at 3 different gyms and basically 3 different locations as well for that. And then you have Region 2 basketball tournament, which is in Northern Kentucky on February 17th. And then the state tournament and skills competition will be March 9th through the 11th. And that'll be, again, at Mid-America in Louisville. And facilities booked, good to go for that. If you guys are looking for hotels and all of that already, please let me know. And I will kind of help you guys out as far as where to book or who to book through. We don't have room blocks with anyone specifically, but I can try and help you out as best as possible for those. And then also I want to mention some invitational tournaments that are going on that I've received notification about. Marshall County, so for Western Kentucky coaches, you're having a tournament actually this weekend, December 9th, at Marshall County. Rebel Run, so this is in Owenton, Northern Kentucky. That was going to be January 27th. The annual St. Mary's Invitational Tournament is set for February 3rd. Bowling Green is kind of doing their own little invitational tournament. That is set for December 17th. I believe they're only looking for 1A teams for that, so if you're a 1A coach and you're looking for games and you're willing to travel to Bowling Green, please contact Holly Vincent, which you can find in the directory page. And then Stewart Homeschool in Frankfort, they will also be doing a little invitational, and that is set for January 13th. Alright, so we are having a clinic coming up. Coach's Clinic. It's going to be at Thomas More College. It's set for this Sunday, December 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. As a coach, if you haven't signed up, please do so. It's a great opportunity. You get recertified 3 years out from the date as far as your sport-specific clinic goes. And then, as you'll see, it is free to all athletes. So as many athletes that want to come out can. We highly encourage all of our coaches to come out as well. And then, as you'll see, it'll also feature the women's basketball program of Thomas More. So if you want to sign up for that, just let me know. You can shoot me an email. Alright, some general Soki basketball rules. Ball size will be 29.5 inch circumference for all teams. Now for junior teams and female teams, which we don't have any female, we may have some junior divisions this year, at least one. They will use a 28.5 inch circumference size ball. All levels and divisions will play on regulation 10-foot goal. All competition is 5-on-5. Each team is required to play all team members in every game played. Each team is required to supply scores from at least 3 games and must advance through its regional tournament or receive an at-large bid in order to qualify for the state tournament. Now, on your game summary forms, this is actually new this year. 2 out of the 3 games that you play and you put on your form need to be with teams within your specific region. So if you're in Region 2 in Northern Kentucky, 2 of those games need to be with Northern Kentucky teams or teams within that specific region. And the only reason that this has been implemented is to only help with the divisioning process, to try and help better evaluate teams within their specific region. If you have problems doing this, like I said, we have the directory that you're able to reach out to all the coaches to get games scheduled. I know gym space is hard to come by this time of the year, so just kind of be transparent with me and let me know in advance if you think this is going to be an issue, and I'll most certainly work with you. And approximately 50 teams will qualify for the state basketball tournament. So in total, last year, I don't have total number just yet for this year, but last year we had a total of 111 teams, and I believe 53 advanced to the state tournament through our brackets. And then, of course, we'll have the skills competition. All right, divisions. Like I mentioned, we'll have junior divisions. This is only 15 and under. We may have one of those this year. Everyone else is in the open division. You can play in the open division and be, as minimal age of 8. All co-ed teams will compete in male division. This is very important, and everyone on this webinar should know that the primary divisioning factor is ability. Secondary divisioning factors include age and gender. Alright, the next slide you'll see is the updated divisioning criteria. which you can find on page 5 of our basketball sports manual that I sent everyone. This was recently updated within the past year. We put together a basketball task force that reworded this and just kind of analyzed it and updated it to what we thought looked a lot better and was able to, be understood. If you're a brand new coach coming in, you can look at this and really see where your team should fall. Alright, rule changes going into 2018. One coach only standing rule. At any point during the game where more than one coach is standing up on the bench, that team will be given a team bench warning. If it happens again, a warning then turns into a technical foul. If a technical foul is given, all coaches must remain seated the remainder of the game. Now for B division, obviously the rule is that you can have one coach assist the athlete to the scores table. So that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is having all three coaches, your head coach and both assistant coaches, all three standing up at the same time, yelling at the athletes, yelling at the officials, and quite frankly, it causes nothing but chaos and does nothing but confuse the athletes and, get under the athlete's skin and, kind of rubs the referees the wrong way. So if we can just try and do a good job of, making sure that only one coach is standing up at a time. Coaches' attire. What's really different this year is just no gym shorts of any kind will be allowed to be worn. We've seen quite a bit of this last year, so let's try and keep this to a minimum this year. All coaches must be either wearing the proper team or team color shirt along with jeans, no holes of course, athletic suit pants, or nice golf style khaki shorts. No hats allowed and no flip-flops of any kind are to be worn. Game summary forms, we already talked about this. And like I said, if you're having issues in getting games, please let me know and I'll work with you. And then best 2 out of 3 games, no more. This is for the higher divisions, your 2As and your 3As that only have 2 teams in a regional tournament or at an invitational tournament, whatever the case may be. And we don't have the game slots or availability to schedule you guys 3 games right in a row, or with an hour by time in between the games. So this pay attention to from a regional standpoint, but if we get to state and there's only 2 2A teams, more than likely we're going to get you 3 games because you're coming all that way. It's a 3-day weekend type of thing. We're going to try and do our best to get you 3 games. Alright, uniforms. All players must wear numbered uniforms. Numbers must be on both the front and the back of the uniform. Only digits 0 through 5 should be used, with the highest possible combination number being 55. So you can't have 99, 88, 77. 55 is the highest number you can have. All players should wear flat gym, court, or tennis shoes. Encourage your players not to wear black sole shoes as they leave black marks on the court. All members of a team must wear the same color uniform. Now this I'm going to have to send out to everyone because it has actually changed, and I got with my head referee who does high school officiating, and this rule has actually changed. The color of the shirt underneath the jersey, it has to be the predominant color or the same color as the body of the jersey. So if you have black jerseys, the shirt needs to be black, or they don't need to have a shirt on underneath of it. If the jerseys are white, then the shirt underneath of it needs to be white. Now, as far as like headbands go, wristbands, accessories, that type of thing, those can be black, white, or beige. Now, if one player is wearing black, then the rest of the players need to be wearing black headbands or wristbands, that type of thing. It all has to be uniform. So hopefully that's understood. Like I said, we'll work on that this year, and we'll just try to keep it of a minimum of, seeing. We just don't want yellow undershirts with green uniforms, that type of thing, just because it looks bad. One thing I suggest is your last practice before a regional tournament or the state tournament. Bring everybody in and have everybody wear what they're going to wear to game day. And then right then and there, you'll be able to see, okay, we're going to have to address this or we're going to have to address that. So bring everybody in their uniform if you're able to, and kind of evaluate the situation before we even get to the regional or state tournament. And for leagues, we're going to be laxed on that a little bit. Excuse me. We know it takes time, and I'm not going to be too awful picky about it. But as the season progresses and we get closer to regional and closer to state tournament, we want all of that stuff, pretty neat and tidy. And then this is a big item, undergarments, so your tights or your compression shorts that extend below the shorts. Those need to be also the same color. So if you have white shorts, they need to be the white undergarments, or the long tights, they need to be white. And everybody needs to be wearing the same color again. Those players who wear eyeglasses while playing are required to wear a strap to hold the glasses in place. No jewelry is allowed by an athlete unless for medical reasons. In this case, athletes should wear tape or wear a sweatband to cover it. Game roster, again, we talked about it due the 19th of January. Minimum allowed is 5 players, but we don't encourage that at all. We encourage at least 8 on a roster. 15 is the absolute max. I know that's hard when you have to play all players, but 15 is the max. The game. All games will consist of 4 6-minute quarters. I'm not going to go in depth on clock rules. They're in your sport manual, so if you have questions, just refer to that. 5-minute halftime play for league play. This may be altered if we're running short on time. Same goes for regional and state play. This is a 10-minute halftime. We'll bring both coaches together and ask them, if you're all right with shortening time, then we'll go ahead and do that so we can get out of there on time. Timeouts, 3 regular 60-second timeouts and 2 30-second timeouts. Unused timeouts will accumulate and can be used at any time. Overtime periods will be 2 minutes in duration for all divisions. Fouls and penalties. Each player will be allowed 5 fouls per game. The 1-and-1 bonus free throw situation will be in effect on the 7th team foul of each half. The double bonus, 2 shots, will be in effect on the 10th foul of each half. Technical fouls will be given for unsportsmanlike conduct and will result in 2 free throws. Flagrant fouls for violent, vulgar abusiveness will result in 2 free throws, and offenders shall be ejected from the game. We do have an ejection policy. You can find that on page 14 of your manual. Alright, coaches' responsibilities. I've already touched on most of this, so I'm not really going to go over it again, but just kind of one thing that just sticks out, and everybody knows the issues we have with divisioning. I would appreciate it as much as possible if you all as coaches could kind of filter everything from your parents, from your grandparents. Set the standard prior to the season with them. Let them know what's expected of the athletes. Let them know what's expected of them as parents and grandparents, how they should act, how they shouldn't act, which they should already know, but go over that with them. And in terms of divisioning specifically, if they have questions like that, bring them to you all as coaches, and then you all as coaches email me, give me a call. I'm open anytime you want for those questions, but it just makes things a lot easier on me coming from just one person or just one coach from that team, rather than getting multiple phone calls from angry parents or grandparents after a game. And hopefully everyone understands that leagues, the leagues that we offer, they are a huge divisioning tool for us. So they help us with divisioning. So there may be some lopsided scores in leagues. We don't want that to happen, but it may very well happen. But that lets us know going into regionals, hey, this team is obviously above this team and that type of thing. So it really, really helps on that. So if you guys could just help out with the visioning, it's a jointed effort here. It's not a perfect science by any stretch of imagination, but I want to get it as perfect as possible because I want to see all games, as close as possible, of course. Alright, and of course, our national governing body of rules is NFHS. If you don't have a copy of this, you can go to the link there listed. And also on that link, you'll find the uniform rules or guidelines. And I also sent that packet out in the first packet of information on the 15th of November. It was 4 pages long. It goes into great depth on jersey color, how big the front number should be, where to put your name, the back of the jersey, the neckline. It goes through it all very in depth. So if you don't have a copy of that, you can either go to that website and get it, or you can send me an email and I'll shoot it to you, no problem. And that'll kind of help you guys out from a uniform standpoint. All right. So that is all I have. I'm going to go through here in the chat and see if we've got any questions. For those of you, I don't see very many questions here. So those of you that have questions that I didn't cover, stay on. You can ask me in the chat, and I'll try and get those answered. Or if I don't know the answer right off the top of my head, I'll shoot you an email tomorrow and get those answered. But thank you guys so much again for joining on. If you don't have any questions at all, you can go ahead and get off of the webinar. Again, we appreciate it. And one of the webinars, we will send this link out to everyone. We will have it available online for you to be able to go back and listen to as well. So thank you.